Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakodash. I want to give double honors to my apostles at Great Millstone who taught me this truth, and a sincere shalom to the elect out there to teach this truth in all honesty and sincerity in these last days. Again, the brother Yasharan, and this is a quick commentary on the happenings over in Eastern Europe. You know, as a lot of you brothers know, there's tensions escalating in Eastern Europe. Russia has been amassing a huge army over on the Ukrainian border. Okay, from I believe from the north, the south, and the east. All right, and what it's doing is it's getting NATO nervous. All right, it's getting NATO nervous. Now, Russia is saying that the West is overreacting. Okay? That the West is overreacting. But really, the West is being a hypocrite, especially America, because America wants to put their nose into their business. All right? And we're going to get it into an article shortly. But here it is. America has been the hammer of the earth, okay? America's been the country that's been going around creating false flags, bombing other countries, okay? Ganging up on little small countries, okay? But when Russia does it, it's an issue. When Russia does it, they need to have devastating sanctions put on it. But America... They can just make up some bullshit and they get to bomb any country they want. The world never puts sanctions on America. This is Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Wars and rumors of wars. So there's a possibility that nothing even comes out of this. Okay? There's a possibility that nothing even comes out of this. But it's the whole fact that there's rumors of wars going on right now. Okay? That show the times that we're in. All kinds of wars, all kinds of rumors of wars. There's troops stationed, okay, throughout the entire Middle East, which is the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Okay, a large portion of the Middle East is a part of the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Okay, which is where a majority of World War III is going to break out at. Okay, but we could see that this if this kicks off, this could potentially lead to a startup of World War III, man. Okay, and this is causing a lot of these wars and rumors of wars are having a lot of effects on the global markets. Okay? See that ye be not troubled. Like a lot of these people of the world are. They're troubled over this news. They're losing their damn minds. Okay? For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there should be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, so nation rising against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And we're going to get into Ezekiel 38. All right? Because a lot of these smaller nations are forming alliances with the big boys. Okay, like China and Russia. They're forming alliances with the big boys. Okay, just to be under their umbrella of economic as well as military protection. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So we're entering the beginning of sorrows, man. Because there's famines around the corner, there's pestilences. Okay, there's lots of earthquakes, there's wars, and rumors of wars. Okay? But like the scriptures say, We shouldn't be troubled. We shouldn't have trouble of the mind during all this because this is supposed to happen. Okay? All these people that are freaking out over this shit, let those of the world deal with it, okay? Now, I got this article here, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. This is posted the other day, yesterday. It's from Reuters, okay? Which we have to keep in mind. You have to keep in mind, Reuters is owned by the elites, particularly the Rothschilds, okay? I just got to throw that out there. Europe. NATO sends reinforcements and U.S. puts troops on alert as Ukraine tensions rise. NATO sending ships, fighter jets to Eastern Europe. U.S. says some 8,500 troops are on alert. Kremlin says West, not Russia, is escalating tensions, and that's what it's looking like. Okay, but if you're watching the mainstream media, you would think otherwise. I mean, just remember what happened with when Donald Trump was in office. Okay, when Donald Trump was in office, the media made up some big Russiagate scandal for 3 years, and nothing ever came out of it. Okay, because the Rothschilds, okay, they want to create. They want to use their media machine to create this enemy as known as Russia, man, to make them look like the biggest enemies to the West and to world peace. Okay? And a lot of that is because they've been the anti-New World Order, okay? If we go back to the history, Tsar Nicholas II had more gold than anybody in the world at the time, and he was a Tsar of Russia. Okay, but the Rothschilds went and took his gold. Okay, they took all the gold in Russia and starved the Russian people. And today, the Rothschilds are banned from doing business in Russia. So Russia has always been or at least in the past century or so, has always been on the opposite end of the interests of the New World Order. They've been the anti-New World Order. Okay? NATO said on Monday it was putting forces on standby and reinforcing Eastern Europe with more ships and fighter jets, in what Russia denounced as Western hysteria in response to its buildup of troops on the Ukrainian border. The U.S. Department of Defense in Washington said about 8,500 American troops were put on heightened alert and were awaiting orders to deploy to the region should Russia invade Ukraine. Okay? Well, hey, let me just say this. In fact, I'm going to read this next paragraph and then elaborate. Tensions are high after Russia... Tensions are high after Russia massed an estimated 100,000 troops in reach of its neighbor's border, surrounding Ukraine with forces from the north, east, and south. Okay? Now, one of the reasons why Russia is doing this is because they see a weak leader here in America in terms of what? The Biden administration. They see a weak administration. So Russia is going and testing the waters with a lot of things right now. So is China, okay? Now, it was a little different when Donald Trump was in office because he was seen as being at least somewhat of a strong leader or someone who you're not going to just walk all over, okay? I don't know why this article keeps jumping around everywhere. You know? I mean, the kikes are on Reuters, so of course they got to have those overbearing ads. Russia denies planning an invasion, and Moscow is citing the Western response as evidence that Russia is the target, not the instigator of aggression. Okay? I don't know why this keeps going back to the top of the article. It's kind of getting me mad, but uh, basically, they're positioning. In fact, I mean, I don't know what the hell just happened there. I'm just getting rid of that article, man. Before it screws the whole video up. Okay. These devils, man. You can't even read a damn article without your browser going crazy. Okay. They got to put all these stupid ads and run all these stupid scripts on every website that there is, man. Anyways, yeah, this whole situation is getting dicey. Okay, but we know that the Lord is the one that's doing all this, man. Okay, the Lord is he's got the angels coordinating all this like it's a big chess move. You have over 70 countries in the Middle East with troops. Okay, you have over 70 countries in the Middle East with troops. But yeah, I'll just summarize what was left of that article. Basically, some countries are I can't remember which one. Some NATO members are bringing troops to Belarus. Some are bringing troops south of Ukraine. Basically, NATO is amassing troops outside of Ukraine too, to meet up with the Russians. Okay, because basically what happens is when you have Russia with all those troops surrounding Ukraine. Okay, if NATO brings a bunch of forces on the other side, that acts as like a deterrent. It makes them think twice about invading. You know, because when those other reinforcements arrive for Ukraine, okay, who knows, man? Russia could suffer a lot of casualties, and they could cause a lot of casualties, man. This is Ezekiel 38:1, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Okay, and it's talking about Russia, okay, and they're the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Okay, and where are those lands located? Okay, I believe Tubal is located around the land of Kazakhstan, which makes sense. Okay, because you have Ukraine and you have Kazakhstan over there, and those are two former Soviet Union satellites, or former members of the Soviet Union. Okay, so Russia rules over them, whether they're in the Soviet Union still or not. Russia still has a large influence over those nations. And Russia is saying Ukraine better not join NATO. Okay? Because that's what NATO is doing. They're trying to steal Russia's allies. Okay? And say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh. And it's interesting how some of these lands listed are in these actual areas, man. That's why you can't come against the Bible, man. Okay, you can't come against the Bible. This is all prophecy right here. And say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor. Okay, so the Lord is going to put hooks into their jaws. They're going to make Russia go back to their old ways. Okay? And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. Because really, when you think about it, man, Russia's been minding their own business for the past decade or so. They've been focusing on rebuilding back into a power again. They've been acquiring all kinds of gold, all kinds of digital assets, physical assets. Okay, they've been working with China to diminish the presence of the dollar in that part of the world. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. And that's all them other nations, that great company, that are going to be joining Russia, man. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. All of them with shield and helmet. Okay? Persia meaning what? The Iranians. Okay, in Libya. Okay, Libya has a long-standing alliance with Russia. Okay, and they have a lot of contracts, to my knowledge, with China too. Okay, basically Russia has Libya manufacture certain kinds of their weapons, and then they resell them to China. Okay, see how all the spheres of power are starting to come against each other in these last days. Gomer and all his bands, which is talking about what the Turks, Turkey, okay, the nation of Turkey, which they have a very large and powerful army. Okay, so all these people that are flipping over whose side Turkey is going to be on, the scriptures say they're going to be on the side of Russia, which is obvious. Okay? Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Right, be a guard unto those smaller nations. Okay? Because America can't just pick on those smaller nations like they used to 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago. You know? Because they have Russia and China backing up a lot of these smaller nations because they have economic, political, as well as military interests. After many days thou shalt be visited, in the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Okay? A lot, you know? Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. Okay, so this is talking about a giant armies, man. Giant armies. Lots of troops, lots of weapons being mobilized and ready for war. And where will the heart of this war take place? Yeah, it might start with the Ukrainian conflict. Man, I'm going to have to watch that. What did you do now, Elazar? Okay? What could you have possibly have done now? You know? That guy had a horrible 2021. And now he honestly, man, what a lot of you guys need to do is just chill the hell out and teach the scriptures, man. And prophesy. That's really what a lot of you guys need to do, man. You guys get a little, you guys come to this truth a few years and you get a little crazy. Like you always got to reinvent the wheel, or, you know, you got to be that guy by making up something that attracts the dumb masses. Okay? Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into my mind, into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. Okay? We're in the beginning of that chapter though. Okay? And you could see certain nations, okay, are starting to pick sides. You know, the EU wanted to put serious sanctions on Russia if they did anything with Ukraine, but there's a lot of European nations and NATO nations, okay, that get their gas and their oil from Russia. Okay, so they can't put too many sanctions on them, and they have to be careful with the sanctions that they do place on them. This whole situation's turning into a geopolitical clusterfuck, man. And that's okay. That's beautiful, actually. This is Joel, the 3rd chapter, the 9th verse. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men. And there's really not that many mighty men these days, man, especially if you live in the so-called West. Okay, there's a lot of sissy men here in these westernized nations like Babylon the Great and in certain nations in Western Europe. Okay? Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And if you've been paying attention to what's going on with the global markets, a lot of these nations are trapped in the corner to where the only way to get out of the rut that they're in is to go to war. Okay? And we're seeing a lot of these small nations upgrade their militaries, man. And Russia is a large part of that because they sell a lot of these smaller nations, particularly those that are in that are listed in Ezekiel 38. They sell a lot of those nations not just weapons but defense, like anti-missile batteries and anti-aircraft. Okay, just basic defense. Okay, but Russia has some of the best stuff on the market. There's a saying that goes that America has the most toys, but Russia has the best toys. Assemble yourselves, verse 11, assemble yourselves. Okay, which when you see thousands of these troops getting moved to this region and that region and that region, okay, that's an assemble. Everybody's picking their sides. And come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Well, hey, there's been a lot of rumors. There's been a lot of the West has been throwing a lot of shit out there that Putin's saying he's gonna nuke this country, nuke that country, and yada yada yada, and they're putting the phrases in quotation marks. But the truth is some of those things he said, but a lot of them he really didn't even say. Okay? Because really, what these kikes in the Western media do is they'll put out a hit piece out there on Putin and it'll go viral to the other Western media kike networks. Okay? They'll put a hit piece out on him and they'll make him say all kinds of things that he never actually said. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened. And this is talking about during World War III. Okay? Because one thing the brothers have to understand is that World War III is not going to be fought in Ukraine. Is it true that there could be battles in Ukraine during World War III? Yes, absolutely. But the heart of the fighting is going to be in the Middle East, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, because that's the Valley of the Most High's judgment. Okay, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, that there cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the Valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Isn't that what these elites are saying too? They're saying that there's too many people in the world and we got to reduce the population. Okay, they're trying to thin the herd out too. Okay, but their way of doing it is through wickedness, man. And it's not up to them, man. It's up to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Judgment is up to the Lord, man. These elite devils, man, they think that they're playing God and they get to determine who lives and who dies and how and blah blah blah. Okay? Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Okay, so the Lord has had enough of all this wickedness here on the planet Earth, man. And if you look at a lot of the nations that are over there in the Middle East, you know, the big players, they're wicked, man. They're nations that are built upon wickedness. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Okay? But with that, you know, I just want to do a World War III update. Until next time, shalom. Peace and blessings to the elect.